All right, guys, we are back with the big dog. We've got Serral in the top right side of the map going up against his nemesis, Reynor. Now, it is kind of funny because I say Reynor's his nemesis because I feel like Reynor is Serral's nemesis in the biggest tournaments, like the big regionals and stuff a lot of the time. However, if you look at the head-to-head, it is always in Serral's favor. And that's the weird thing. But when it comes to the biggest tournaments, I do feel like Reynor in the last few years especially, I mean, the first few years, Serral did dominate him. And then Reynor has been a big trouble for him. Now, Serral's going to open up this best of 5. This is the DreamHack EU Regionals of Valencia. I think this is like top 4, top 8, something like that. Best of 5 match. Serral's opening up with a 12 pool, and he's sneaking a drone across the map. Guys, he's going to do a spine crawler rush. This is a dirty, dirty cheese that he's doing. Reynor playing completely standard. And what a change up it's been. From the early years of them playing, Reynor was always throwing out crazy builds, sneaky upgraded Zerglings, doing dirty Ling Floods and all-ins, catching him off guard some games not so much. But now, these days, we see Serral mixing in so many all-ins and timing attacks to kill him. And look at that, guys. He dodges the Overlord with his drone. Oh, he's going to sneak it in? No. Is he going to... He's not going to... Okay, yeah, he's going for the spine crawler, guys. Look at that. He's going to cancel it and build a spine on the creep. This is a super cute, dirty maneuver. Very expensive to do, but he's still going to be able to macro behind it by building a hatchery. So it's still a macro transition, but he's probably going to build like 12, maybe 14 lings. Now, the thing is, because you don't get vision till your hatchery finishes, your hatchery will finish, and you'll see it as the spine finishes. Perfectly timed build here for Serral. The problem is, notice its hit points. Because the creep has disappeared by now, it is bleeding out. So its hit points are actually going down even as it builds. And that means by the time it finishes, it's not actually got that many hit points. Now, Reynor actually checks for a spine on the edge of creep at his base. He finds it down here as it finishes up. Reynor immediately building Zergling, starts his own spine crawler as well. Now, the creep from the hatchery will spread and the spine will stop losing hit points in a moment. The creep is not spreading in that direction. Serral getting incredibly unlucky. The creep finally gets on top of the spine crawler, but only after it takes... No, it's still bleeding out. Serral just got so unlucky with the creep spread direction. The creep spread everywhere, but over the spine. The spine got to 80 hit points from that. Oh my God, he's going to be triggered by that, guys. That was a really bad piece of luck. It got really far in the other directions before it spread under that. Either way, though, he's done good damage. 3 drones have gone down. If he can get the hatchery, that's going to be big. And notice Reynor, I mean, he's struggling to get down here. He does wait for the queen. He's going to pull down, fight with the queen and the drones and the lings. He's trying to get a bit of a surround. The spine is so damaged. And that's a big issue. That spine does so much damage. Oh my God, if the spine survives, it's huge. The queen, can she finish it? She kills it just barely. Just barely. But I think Reynor might have lost too many drones. He did anyway, and he does go down despite that. Guys, I want to show you guys how triggered Serral is, because I would be so mad. So basically, when a hatchery finishes, it spreads creep, and it's kind of random which direction that creep spreads in. It kind of does bit here, bit here, bit over here, bit over here, right? But what happens here? Look at this creep spread, because it looks like it gets underneath the spine, right? So check this out. It spreads like right up next to it, and I'm like, oh, cool, it must be under it. But if you watch, the hit points are still falling. And then the creep is like, hey, I'm going to spread all the way over here. Over here, it starts spreading over here, and the spine is still dropping in hit points, which is how you know the creep isn't underneath it. What the hell, man? Look at this. It's still dropping hit points even now. And I thought, oh, okay, once the drones pull back, at least the creep's under it at that point, right? This is just the drone damage. No, no, no. Guys, look, the drones aren't attacking it. Its hit points are still going down. What the hell? If Serral lost this game, he would be so mad. The creep's friggin' is at the full limit of its reach over there, over here, and not under the spine. Bit of bad luck for Serral, but a beautiful cheese, and he gets a free win to start off the series. Nicely played. All right. A rough way to start the series, but he will not be perturbed. He is very used to losing games to cheeky timings from Serral. This is Reynor in the bottom right, and Serral in the bottom left. Now, guys, very predictable what's going to happen. Reynor is going to go take a hatch first on the gold. Serral is going to take a hatch first on the blue. I say that now as someone who legitimately cannot remember what happened in this series. I know I saw part of it back when it happened, but I can't remember what happened. But like that just kind of fits their mode, right? Drone goes there. And actually, they're both taking normal blue bases, so neither player going to be going for the gamble gams this time. Hatcheries go down at pretty much the exact same second. Reynor's drones are on a little bit of walkabout. He's got to double these drones on that top patch, and then yeah, he'll put that last drone here. There we go, nicely done. Fixing that up. Serral's mining also looking pretty clean there. You can see doubling that drone up with this one on that patch there. And they're both going to go for the gas in the pool. All right, so very standard openings to start. Now, do we see gold bases as the third? Do we see either player just wall off and go for Roach Tech? Or will we be seeing the Lingbane skirmishes? I haven't seen Blackburn open with just standard blue base versus blue base in a while. It's always like 12 pool versus gold base expand. Or gold base versus blue base. And one player goes like straight to mutas, one goes Roach Crush. Like, it's always very dynamic. But in this case, it's much more like, hey, this is a true mirror matchup. Let's see who's better here. And remember, Reynor is very cocky. Now, Serral's very confident as well, but Reynor, he does talk shit a bit, and he's very out there and open with his confidence in a way which some people are like, oh, it's insufferable. How dare he be confident, you know? I think it's just because they hear him kind of shit talk their favorite players basically by saying, hey, I'm better than them and I'll beat them. And I think they get a bit offended. But realistically, Reynor said many years ago, he was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to start playing Roaches and beat Serral in like the clean macro game. I've done enough of these gimmicky muta builds, beaten it with mutas and zerglings and ling floods many times. But you know what? I can beat him in a standing game. People keep thinking I have to cheese Serral. He's like, you know, I'm better than him, and I can just beat him at his own game, right? And that's what Reynor said a couple years ago, and there was about 6 months of him losing to Serral in standard Roach Wars and like really straight up matches because Serral was just more practiced at him. And a lot of people were critical of Reynor. This was probably back in maybe late 2019, I would say, early 2020, somewhere around there. And a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, you dummy, like keep doing what's working. I was one of those people who was like, oh man, I really think if he just went mutas here, it'd be a better strategy. I think it would be played really good against our Serral plays, but he's just going to play really normal Roach play. And I was like, oh. And it looked a little uninspired. He lost a lot of maps to Serral. They were close series, but he was losing a lot of them. And then after 6 months, he became God tier. And suddenly it felt like there was no difference in the skill level. And in fact, because Reynor could play very solid, but he would still mix in a few more curveballs and risks and wild plays with that really solid basis, it almost feels like it switched gears from maybe 2020, 2021 onwards to the point where it feels like Serral is just always planning timing attacks and all-ins. As like whole series versus Reynor, it's always like he gets a couple of wins early in the series, usually effortlessly, off the planning, off the preparation, off the builds, off studying how Reynor plays. And then he gets ahead in some games, but Reynor starts just doing some wild shit. And you can see, it's like Serral's trying to ride a bucking horse, and Reynor just knocks him off his back. He just starts doing crazy, weird shit. Serral starts overreacting to things that aren't happening. Reynor starting a Spire, shows it, cancels it, does something completely different, goes for a 90. Reynor really, I feel like, gets in Serral's head in these series. And not just that, but we've also seen Reynor outplay Serral in late game Lurker Viper. And that used to be Serral's whole thing, was like, if I just survive to late game, no one can match me there. But we've seen Reynor outplay him in the late game many times. And I'm not saying it's always that way, but there's been quite a few series where that's happened, where Serral's gone to the late game significantly ahead, ended up losing. Now, on the other hand, Dark has significantly outplayed Reynor in the late game, like significantly as well, where I think Dark looks way better than just about any other player in the Turtle Lurker Viper late game. So that's kind of a crazy thing to say, because it's not rare you see a Korean who's going to be a bit more happy to play a very static game state. You'd think that would be Serral's forte. Anyways, talking more about the actual builds, still a complete mirrored matchup. Light Lingbane pressure on both sides. Serral barely pressuring, right? Serral keeps almost all of his units at home and just sends single Zerglings to scout. But both sides have gone the lair now. We've got that finishing up about the same time for both sides. We should be seeing Roach speed pretty much immediately. No Roach speed yet for Reynor. He's been a little bit slow on it because his Roach Horn was later. So he's gone for a bit of a greedier Roach Horn. And because of that, Reynor cutting things like the Roach Horn, he's up half a cycle of workers. You can see he's up 4, 5, 6 workers depending on the moment in time. It's a pretty even scenario, all things considered, but definitely in his favor. He drops the 6th gas. Serral has not done that yet. Serral may drop a Nidus one momentarily. Where's the Overseer, guys? There's an Overseer for Reynor. Serral is not building an Overseer. Serral's not scouting. Serral's just going for a Roach all-in. He's super committed, but the Overseer might scout this. In fact, he's only on 4 gases, is Serral. Oh, Serral's crazy committed right now. He's trying to pull his queens up to deflect this. You don't want to just throw the Overseer away. Does Reynor realize? Reynor's trying to sneak a Spire at 4th base. He's up 12 workers. Has he been too greedy? With no Nidus to reinforce this, it's a decent Roach timing attack, but it is pretty damn committed. Now, if Reynor builds any more workers, if he starts committing into some things, he could be in trouble. If he starts building mutas as the roaches are hitting him, they won't really be in time to stop this. Here we go. Roach attack's moving out. It's coming, guys. 18 roaches versus 6, but there are 9 more about to pop for Reynor. I think Reynor's okay here. I think he can hold on. He's going to have to pull his queens to the front, though. This will be very close. Obviously, these slow zones are hurting Serral a bit, but he's dropping creep out of the Overlord, speeding up his advance. 21 roaches to 8. Reynor has 14 roaches in production, but they're not here yet. Serral needs to get in and get some damage done, and quick. The roach is starting to come out. It's pretty similar roach numbers on the front right now. Serral's up just a couple, but the queens have pulled forward. That queen with the high energy drops a transfuse just before she goes down. Very good moves here by Reynor there, and I think Reynor's held on. Serral's overcommitting in. He's got less roaches here. He's trying to take down the queens, and he does. But, I mean, yeah, okay, that's nice. There's 4 hatcheries. There's also mutalisks coming out, which are going to push back all your overlords and so on. And remember, guys, it's a 4-gas, 54 drone roach haul in from Serral. This is super committed. He doesn't have +2 on the way, so he's not getting more upgrades. He does start a 4th base, but these mutas are just going to put a timer on him. And Reynor barely managing to defend. And because Reynor was a little ahead in the opening stage by being a bit greedier, also applying that light Ling Bane pressure and maybe forcing a few more Banelings and Lings out of Serral than he wanted, Serral's build order, his timing attack, it's very much inflexible. The Overseer spotted it coming. Serral's just going to tap out, and rightfully so. He had nothing he could do from here, guys. You might be wondering, is that an early GG? No, equal roach count, so you can't push through. Mutas are out. You've got no counterplay to it. You could build a spore on each base, get some more queens, and Reynor can just go back to roaches and kill you because you're behind on economy already. You build 4 or 5 spores, some queens, you're even further behind. Reynor has a gold base. You're dead. There's nothing you can do there. Reynor ties up the series. Nice defense. Serral coming out with some pre-planned timing attacks once again, but they're not paying off. All right. Down here, we got Serral going into Berlingrad. Another small map. This series has already been cheesy, and it's Reynor's turn. He's going to go 12 pool up against what looks like a hatch first. Now, if Serral opens pool first here, that would be some big brain shit because this map's pretty good. Build a pool. Uh-oh. All right, Serral's going hatch first, so a taste of his own medicine. Now, I think with this build, you probably want to open up at least one of these mineral patches because it significantly reduces the rush distance. We'll see. I'm not really sure. Now, there's no gas or anything. He hasn't sent a drone yet, so it looks to me like Reynor's just going to be doing a 12 pool into an expansion. So he's just going to be looking to maybe kill the hatchery or kill some drones and then get ahead with the probably a roach build afterwards. Last pair of Zerglings slightly delayed there. And no queen started. He sends his drone down. You'd say it's a little late, but he wants to build these Zerglings with no delay. So, bam, those Zerglings, perfectly timed. 118 hatchery goes down after the 12 pool. We've got a spawning pool at the front. Try and block spine crawlers from building here if a drone pool does happen. Let's see. He doesn't actually open up the minerals at all. Let's watch from Serral's camera, guys. When does he see this? Oh, he glimpses it. He glimpses it. He sees his Zerglings. Okay, he knows what's up. Instantly repositions his overlords. And he's just going to not produce right now. So he's not building an overlord. He just wants to build Zerglings with all the lava. Save it for when the pool finishes. His pool, when did his pool start, guys? 35 seconds ago. Okay, at minute 13, minute 14. It's a solid pool timing. No mistakes on that. Every second matters with that spawning pool. And he's going to have to pull drones if he wants to defend this. He was a little slow to continue his overlord forward, so he doesn't actually know if this is a 13 or 12 or not. Only now does Serral know that he has to pull the drones. Before that point, he thought it might be a gas build, but now he's like, oh, okay, it's just a 12 pool. Let's go. But Reynor's already got a lot of damage on the hatchery. Okay. Oh, I like the way Reynor only pulls a few Lings and kind of baits him into fighting him there. Okay. Okay, Lings are coming out. That hatchery is very low, though. Remember, these drones initially got pulled very slowly. Serral with some good drone micro, but he's got to start pulling back weak individual drones, if you ask me. He's lost 4 of them. Very good damage by Reynor, but no hatch snipe. It's just a lot of mining time. 4 kills. And I do not know who's ahead. 8 Zerglings. Did he lose any Lings? He lost 2. So, I mean, building 10 Lings, I don't think that's overproducing on the defense for Serral. I think that's about perfect. He's going to bring 2 queens down. The best move, if you can get one of these overlords, would be huge, but Reynor's very safe with his positioning. He can just retreat over these pieces of terrain. Now, these Lings going to poke in, see the queens, they have to just run away. No point taking a fight there. I like the split on the Zergling. He does see a few drones there, which makes it seem like it's not an all-in follow-up. You know there's 2 queens. You know there's at least pulled drones from the main down there. Serral's probably going to be confident playing very greedy here. And that's important because he has been all-in in this sort of scenario by Reynor before, where Reynor fakes a 12 pool, does like a little pressure, and then bam, there's a completely all-in Ling Flood follow-up. So Serral confidently just macroing right now. He's got Ling speed started up. Meanwhile, Reynor, of course, has to play the gasless sort of build since his gas is so late. So he's going to go straight up the tech tree to roaches. 28 drones for Reynor on 3 queens, and we've got 30 for Serral on just 2. Serral is missing injects in his main. He will kill an overlord, just barely, but he's missing injects during this. So I doubt just how much worth this is. I actually think Reynor might pull ahead now just because Serral's missing so much inject time. I mean, denying an overlord is good, and he sees Ling speed, which does make Reynor maybe a little worried as well. And okay, but he's also seen that there's just not that many. There's lots of drones, and he's already got a wall off, and he just builds another Evo, so it's rock solid. If Lings do flood across, he just builds another Evo as needed. So, I mean, the Lings are going to come forward. Makes sense for Serral. Serral takes a 3rd base. He's got his own Evo Roach Horn. So it's just Ling speed into macro, quicker +1 range upgrade, and lair for Reynor as he goes up to 3 gas. Serral just taking his 2nd gas right now, focusing on 10 more Zerglings and Carapace. Interesting move for Serral in this scenario. Now, I don't think these 10 Zerglings make any sense at all, guys. I actually think that's a nonsense maneuver. Now, if Reynor moves out to take a 3rd right now, and then you flood forwards, you could do it. Also, Reynor's vision sucks. Reynor has not shuffled this overlord to the right. He could flood Lings out the right side of the map. If Serral's been paying attention, he should flood these Lings out the right side of the map, wait up here, so that he can jump in the moment Reynor makes a misstep. But Reynor right now playing real conservative. He's going roach speed +1. He's on 45 workers on 2 base. Meanwhile, Serral, he's going mass Ravager Ling all in off just 34 drones. It's such a low economy. I kind of wish he had a 3rd gas because he's going to only have 6 Ravagers, and it's still going to take him another minute or 2 to get those ready. Serral here just still trying to quote-unquote deny the 3rd. Little does Reynor doesn't even need to do anything, though. The Overseer Scout's going to be huge, man. He's going to see everything with the Overseer. He sees no drones on Serral's 3rd. That already is a big tell. Reynor knows, okay, at worst, I'm even economy with you. But who knows? Maybe you're all inning. I could be even further ahead. Oh, look at that. Changeling split plus the Overseer split the army. Is he hiding the army? Serral's hiding the army very well. But Reynor, he will not be perturbed. He will get this info. Where is that army? He sees Lings popping out. He sees no gases here. Reynor pulls back to his natural. He's got a full wall. Spine crawler. Spire goes down. And Serral is still massing Zerglings as if he hit anything. Dude, he saw no drones on the base. It doesn't matter that he didn't see your army. Serral is completely all in. 3 games in a row. He's committing to a pre-planned all-in timing attack. This is how Serral likes to play when he's playing versus Reynor recently. It's very inflexible. Reynor is actually the one who really scouts and adapts. I feel a lot more. Serral gets very stiff in his play versus Reynor, and very stiff. You know, sometimes that's good with the ladies, not so much when you are playing your mortal adversary, someone who's so high level as Reynor. Look at that wall off. There's no way you're breaching that. Reynor, he doesn't even care about losing the Roach Horn that much because he's going to be swapping into Mutiling behind this. The Ravager's coming forward. He's going to try and bile the wall down. Maybe if he lands the biles to end all biles, he could do something. But man, I just feel like the positioning for Reynor is so sick right now. I mean, look at that spine in the back as well. He's got another spine finishing up. I don't really see you doing too well here. The biles could land pretty big, but oh, good dodges, man. I kind of feel you want to spread these biles out a little bit more rather than just go for the high impact. But look at that. The Lings are washing up on this. Transfuse is landing on the roaches, the spines, everything. And Serral gets shot down. Tries to go for a very low worker count all in. I think he assumed Reynor was going to be going for a much quicker 3rd or going for a much quicker attack, which he could jump on and surround. But Serral was so low economy with that. And when Reynor just turtled up on 2 base for such a long period, you could see that Serral's meta game plan there just did not work out. He was relying on Reynor moving out of the map without scouting ahead of it. But Reynor scouting, playing reactive. He's up 2-1 in this series already. All right. Let's go. Taking the lead in this series. He only needs 1 more to close it out. We got Reynor in the top left. Playing some very good reactive StarCraft. Another small map here. These guys have vetoed the big maps. Serral in the bottom right side. Not going for an early pull this time. Now, I got to point out that Serral is clearly making some hard reads on how he expects Reynor to play in this series, and they're not working out. And I think the reason is that we're seeing mid-series adaptation, and maybe not after the first game, but definitely after the second game, Reynor has changed gears into, oh, you're coming into these series super committed with like an all-in plan of what you want to achieve, and I just need to block that from killing. I just need to scout and then block you from killing me. And that's making it kind of simple in terms of how he needs to adapt in this series, right? Whereas you can tell Serral's like, okay, Reynor's done the 12 pool. Now he's going to try and surprise me with a big, fast +1 roach speed attack, or he's going to do this or that. But I'm going to get him with this big roach ravager ling. And it's like, no, dude. Reynor was just playing the most conservative follow-up ever. 4 gas, Evo Chamber, Roach Horn, make roaches of 45 drones. Serral was not expecting Reynor to be so chilled out on 2-base for such a long period of time. Reynor playing an uncharacteristic style for him, and Serral not having an answer to it. When you stop at 34 drones like that and you're already massing Lings, Ravages, Carapace, you're really relying on your opponent doing a certain thing. Now, it's a very fast gas, is it? Yeah, Reynor's very fast onto gas, man. He lost quite a bit of mineral mining there. Is Reynor doing some sort of Ling Flood? Or maybe a quick Ling Bane pressure, we'll see. So it's not a big difference, but just any difference between the gas there always makes me wonder, like, hey, okay, are you going to start Ling Speed immediately straight into a Baneling Nest? Go make some explodies, some boom booms? Both sides spotting each other's hatchery first, pulling their overlords around. Serral goes for the double queen, 2 Zerglings and an overlord. Exact same for Reynor. Starts Ling Speed, pulls 2 workers off gas. Okay, so because he's pulling 2 workers off gas, Reynor's going to do a big Ling pressure straight into roaches. He's going to skip the Baneling tech. If he wants, he might stay very low economy and go a handful of roaches and then drop a Baneling Nest and actually just do a really quick Roach Bane all in. But he's definitely going to do a Ling pressure with this really fast Ling speed and pulling 2 workers off gas. And we've got to keep our eye with when he puts back on gas. Serral playing standard, 2 workers on gas, taking a third. So very standard play for Serral. Reynor's being a little more aggressive. Reynor's third does get denied here. That's frustrating, but these 2 Lings will get a lot of damage. Any damage on this hatchery is huge. Serral's Baneling Nest is on time, 245. That's a solid timing there. Reynor's third is a little delayed. That does hurt his production. And guys, he's still not back on gas. Really, Reynor? What the hell is this, mate? I mean, he better put back on soon. You can see he's already building Zerglings off 24 drones. I told you he's doing a big Ling Flood. He wants to cancel the third with this, or at the very least pin Serral back on his side of the map so Serral can't use the Baneling tech. Ling Bane will smash just Zerglings in a fight, but Reynor's going to go first. And by going first and getting across the map, he'll use his mobility, force the Banelings to be on the defensive side rather than the offensive side. Now, he does drop a Baneling Nest. Okay, so he does still go Banelings. He just goes for delayed Banelings. Very cute. Lings see this building up. Serral needs to morph Banelings here and on his ramp. He's going to morph them here. Okay, that's all right. That's a pretty safe position, but there are Lings there. They're just going to go straight for the hatchery. Oh, even with these Banelings right on time, just that couple of seconds faster Ling speed for Reynor allows him to flood very quickly. And that means that hatchery's going down. The Banelings finish morphing, and the hatchery has to get cancelled. Now, Serral is up on workers. This is not game over. He can replace that. It's a bit of production he loses. And most importantly, I would say injecting time, actually. He needs to get a creep tumor and an inject going. His Ling Bane is defending, but there could be a Baneling follow-up to this as well. Reynor is droning pretty hard, so they are neck and neck on the workers. And that Roach Horn does go down pretty quickly. That's interesting. I mean, that tells me Reynor's either preparing to get Roach Bane all in or thinking about doing it himself, but he doesn't have a second gas. That means, I mean, if he was going to go aggressive, I think he'd already have a second gas up. So I think Reynor's just being safe with that Roach Horn. Roach Horn goes up only a few seconds later for Serral. Banelings and Lings are coming forward. Lings try to do a run by there, but the Queen wall-off is up. So Serral very methodical about getting that wall-off going. 3 Queens for Serral. 3rd Queen will be popping momentarily for Reynor. Ling Bane still skirmishing on the bottom side. Reynor's going to go for a bit of a backstab, rely on his Queen and Banelings to defend. Oh, Serral could have picked those off. I like that, though. Just 2 Lings, so he doesn't really need to worry about losing him to a Baneling. That's still a win. Bit of mining time in a Baneling. Oh, good hit for Serral. Doesn't quite get the second debt. Right now, Reynor's up 5 workers. Reynor's now going into Roaches. He's got a later Evo chamber, so I don't think Serral feels too far behind. It feels like a very even game, even though the supply is up for Reynor. He's probably got, I'd call this like a half a production cycle lead. You're not really ahead a full round of roaches or drones. You're just like half a cycle ahead. But being behind on both +1 and lair means Serral's got way quicker tech. And this is his fake out. This fucks with Serral so much, guys. Serral often sees this and panics and builds spines and cancels upgrades and cancels lairs and then ends up way behind because it's just a light pressure. Reynor has tricked him with this move so many times in the past, but this time Serral is not taking the bait, and I love it. He does still build 2 spines, which he needs to cancel because Serral's got vision. He sees nothing else rallying. Cancel. Cancel that too, buddy. You don't need it. But now he's down 6 workers with 6 more on the way for Reynor. Reynor uses that, just handful of roaches and banelings to scare Serral. And he has won series with that game many times. But Serral is like, dude, you can get me once or twice. Third time, go F yourself. I know that move. I'm watching the Overlord. And look, he's even sending in this to confirm. He says, okay, yeah, just checking. It's a full third, double gas. We are in a big macro game. Now, Serral might be tempted to pop roach speed down. Did he cancel his lair? Oh, shit. He canceled his lair, didn't he, guys? Right? Right? I didn't see. I feel like it should have been finished by now, yeah? Yeah, because Reynor's lairs... Oh, he friggin' cancelled it again. I said he didn't buy the bait. He bought the bait, guys. He bought the bait. Reynor has cancelled Serral's lair and often his Evo upgrade more times than I can friggin' count at this point. 2,000 atmospheres, so many... He always overreacts to that move. And it's a small map. Roachbane is such a scary attack. Normally what he does there, it's good, it's respectful, but that is like Reynor's classic. I'm going to get you to overreact, Serral. It's such a simple pressure as well. It's just like 4 roaches, whatever Ling Bane he's already got out on the map, but you don't know if there's 10 more roaches coming behind that as Serral. You gotta respect it. Now that's a good fight for Serral. Serral's got OV speed, much quicker +2 as well. So he's up about 40 seconds on the upgrade. You gotta pay off that. Second Evo, so Serral's gonna go Carapace with that. Carapace, level 1, only takes about 110 seconds, I think it is, to upgrade, so it should time out to be pretty close to that +2 and finishing. Serral's down a little bit in supply, so he's down 12 roaches right now, but he's got a little bit of Ling Bane on the map that can, you know, keep those alive, and if Reynor ever F2s across the map, suddenly those Ling Bane backstabs could be useful. Overseer comes in for the scout. Now it is 6 gases for Serral, 5 gases for Reynor. Serral's up like 6 workers. Serral's just got to be really cautious because he's acting like he's the big boss on the map, and he's actually got a weaker army. He's building a Hydra Den because he's worried about mutas being added in. He thinks Reynor might just build 1 round of mutas. But he actually just needs to be worried about the roach shove. Reynor is not doing anything elegant or fancy. He did not go Overlord speed. He did not go for the Hydra Den. Serral cancels the Hydra Den. Good move, but he's also going for 2 upgrades, which Reynor skipped. There's so much money in the future investment that hasn't paid off yet. His roach speed's not even here yet. These biles are very good for Serral to buy time, but it's a big roach numbers advantage for Reynor. He does a roach run by on the top. Lings will kill the 4th base of Reynor, but that's preparing for the future. It's the here and now that matters. The roach is going forwards and focusing down these ravages. Serral needed to pull some drones here, and he needed to do it earlier. The drone pull has to happen before you lose all your fighting units because drones do not do damage, and this is huge. Serral not realizing just how powerful this push is. Reynor baits the overreaction earlier and then just goes all in. 63 drone +1 range, all in. And Serral, thinking about a few minutes in the future, gets caught out. Reynor, an elegant finish there to the series. He made it look rather simple. He didn't have to do anything too fancy. Just a nice, clean, very committed timing attack. And Serral, you could tell he was trying to play reactive and balance out many things here as he goes back to the macro game format in game 4. I just want to go back a little bit and show, like, you know, how does he lose there, guys? You got to, oh, how's he lose? Remember, he was a little behind on drones and he canceled his lair and that stuff. But when this fight starts, he's just way down on roaches. 49 Roach Ravager combined count versus 29. Yeah, you've got a few more roaches popping out, but dude, that's 20 roach advantage. That's huge. He built 7 more workers. And remember, he was behind on workers. So that's kind of like building 10 or 12 more workers than your opponent, because you've built those drones later than your opponent as well. You've invested in Overlord speed, 100, 100. You built a Hydra Den, 100. What is that? 100, 100, 150 for? I think it's 100, 100 for a Hydra Den, something like that. +2, 150, 150. Carapace, 150, 150. And it's a small map. So that is actually massive. Just all of that adding up. And then it's just out of nowhere, these roaches explode across the map. No chance to respond. And Reynor wiping him off the face of the map. Very well played series by Reynor. That classic Roach Bane pressure, I really struggle with it. The same thing. A lot of people have started doing what Reynor does in this series, this exact same style, and I really struggle with it. I feel like Serral. I feel like I'm just rubbing my head in frustration going, God, it's hard. Looks like a Roach Bane all in, and then you just go home and you're ahead. God damn it, you tricky bastard. The Italian Stallion, though, crushing it, and he is looking fantastic. GG, well played.